Welcome to part 25 of Midtown Madness 3, and in this part we're going to now be taking a look at races 6 through 10 of the checkpoint races in Paris. And we're going to be starting things off with a very high-speed one, in which I could have easily used one of the other cars, but I decided, fuck it, I wanted to be different. I went with a completely blacked-out Serpent Mark II.
Neat.
Serpent Mark II, that sounds familiar.
The Serpent Mark I, I have a feeling, appeared in Motorhead, and that was the last car you ever unlocked. It was also one of the earlier cars that I actually made as far as liveries go. So that's probably why the name sounds familiar.
Fair enough.
Could be. But yeah, basically, this one was slightly rage-inducing. You'd think with this one being pretty simple and straightforward, mostly being straightaways and speed, you think it would be pretty easy. Just trying to make sure not to crash, and physics doing things is just especially when running into vehicles like that. You can kind of see how much it destabilizes the car in some cases. And I don't know why they slowed down there. Anyways, you were trying to say something? I meant Angel, sorry.
I'm trying to think, because I'm thinking the difference between like the Serpent, the Mark I, and Mark II. I would love to see the Mark I version in the game, but I'm still trying to get my hands on the game, and now I've got this very distinct feeling that they've somehow managed to go backwards in their handling model from Motorhead to Midtown Madness 3, and that is very, very frightening.
See, the thing with Midtown Madness 3, it isn't so much the way the cars handle and go through turns. That's fine. It's when the cars get unstable or bouncing around or coming off of jumps or going off road in some cases. It's just how much the cars will just want to basically careen in a certain direction that you saw a little bit there of. Spin out, or basically the one common thing I've had, which is what made the stairs so frustrating, was the car will often, when it crashes into something, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So it's just a case of rubber suspension, as I previously said.
Yeah, but basically when you crash into something, the car will often always cling itself to face the direction of which basically in front of it. So say like you hit like just the side of a wall or something. There's a lot of cases where it's basically had it where it'll stop all of its momentum and just turn over to the left of where so it's facing that wall. It does that a lot, and it's really goddamn annoying.
Nice.
Speaking of rubber suspension,
sounds absolutely amazingly awful.
Oh, it was. This one got pretty close though, but I was able to just get it at the end there.
So how do you think the vehicle drove in this particular scenario? Like, how did the car feel?
What, the Serpent?
Yeah, don't tell me all the cars handle the same in this game.
They don't.
Exactly. So how did it feel?
The Serpent is fine. Like it goes around the corners fairly well, and when it's stable, it's generally pretty quick. But it's just a case though, you get to that certain point of speed and it just starts getting all ridiculous. And you can see I almost went on two wheels there.
Unstable?
Rubber suspension basically kills it. And yes, trees that you can go through. The trees, you think I can imagine that they made you go through most trees so it's not meant to stop you. That was probably a purposely done intention.
God.
But every time you go through the tree, it always just gives you a bit of a bunny hop on your car, and yep, two wheels by the way there. And basically it always has this huge chance of forcing your car to turn into a certain direction, and in many cases that's what I meant, by the way.
Just rubber suspension and just like throw you right into a pole.
Yeah, and you can see how it turned right to face it. It does that a lot.
Polestar!
This is not a Volvo. And that happened too. I did not make the car turn right there. It just did that on its own. This
nice
one,
car though.
Yeah, I do like this car. I like the design of it. It's kind of it's a shame the base game doesn't have it.
I'm looking at the cars in this game, and there's a lot of original cars.
Yeah,
And I like it when games have original cars.
Yeah, like I said, all the DLC in this game was designs that DICE themselves made. But yeah, it's basically just you can, and all that bounciness there. It's just a common problem with the later cars. They just like to do that a lot. Which makes,
yeah, I get that.
like, see, I don't mind if I wouldn't have minded if the cars were balancing like that if it wasn't just for the fact that it just, when it gets sliding a bit and it's kind of stuck in a direction, it doesn't make it feel like you have no way to recover it and just basically have it go the direction you don't want it to go or make you spin out. Because in Midtown Menace 2, sure, the physics are crazy and ludicrous, and in a lot of ways, the original Midnight Club is kind of modified it's kind of modified on those same physics for Midtown Menace 2.
As we saw during your Let's Play when you basically phased through reality.
Yep. But the thing with Midtown Menace 2 is even though some cars are still, you know, can be tricky and some of them may not like curbs or something and all this kind of stuff, it's still kind of forgiving in a way. This game feels like you have to tame it.
It's Battlefield on wheels.
Ironically, as it considering the people who made this.
All right, and because I'm at what the?
There was a jump.
No, I know that was a jump, but the way your car rotated in.
It'll do that a lot with those kind of ramps where it'll go up and it'll just make the car look like it's pointing downwards.
That looks nightmarish.
It is. Especially because that jump, this race took me a few attempts, sometimes just because of that jump. And that point was me almost forgetting to take the turn to the corner there.
Also, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. This car looks straight up 2000, like Keezy 2000s tuner, like the kind of thing you would just buy like an Opel and put some taillights on it.
Yep, that was pretty much the idea, I think.
And that is absolutely my aesthetic. I love the look of this thing.
Aesthetic.
Look at the taillights and the chrome strip. It's like a freaking, what was that one Vauxhall? There was a, hold on, I gotta remember, because there was a Vauxhall in Gran Turismo 4 that had that feature.
The Vectra?
Yeah.
I think there was a common design cue for Opels and Vauxhalls at the time.
Wouldn't surprise me.
And yep, there's an example.
Yep, I just saw it. That was awful. Nice Audi TT wheels though. Or
yeah.
Mercedes SL wheels.
I mean, this car looks a lot like an Audi TT in some areas anyway. Some elements also looking like a Nissan 350Z. And yeah, that tiny little hump just stopped the car. Is LRC and Scotian still here?
No.
Okay, you're not here, thank you. Although it sounds like LRC might not actually be here.
Let me see.
Considering he's isn't walking.
He is.
What, is he not like in the thing, or is he just mute?
He's here but not speaking.
Oh, alright, yeah. So yeah, that was that one. Then we got it. So this one I decided just let's actually drive a Viper because I felt like it. Because you can't go wrong with Vipers, except for that one Madeleine who chose one of a purple DLC car. I wish I knew their names. The problem is the way these files were compiled. They don't actually show their names that they originally had anymore, so I have no idea what they're called. So, unless I was to find somewhere that posted screenshots of what those vehicles looked like in the menu that had their names, I can't really say what they are.
So you don't know what they're driving?
All I know is that they're driving DLC vehicle. Well, the one Madeleine is driving DLC, the rest are all driving Vipers.
Well, at some point it might be a good idea to just... Oh, wait a second. I have an idea.
Uh-oh.
IGCD still exists.
Yeah, but I don't think the names are correct. I remember looking at that and I was thinking, that doesn't look like something they would do. Or something DICE would have done.
Well, I can double check, but if it is wrong, then I mean that's what you're there for.
Yeah. I mean, I'm there very rarely these days, to be fair.
Yeah, I got you. Well, I'm actually a little curious. I'm gonna look at some of these fantasy cars, but yeah, there's a bunch of made-for-game cars. Oh God, motorized grocery carts exist.
Yeah, made for a game is basically their way of saying we don't actually know what real car is supposed to be based off of, so we just believe it was something that was just designed for the game itself.
And this list looks like incredibly incomplete, if I'm being honest.
There's a total of 48 cars in the game.
And 48 cars. And how many cars are listed here? Let me see. 4, 8, 12, 16, 24, 32, 40, 40. Oh, well, that's right. This lists traffic cars, too. But
Yeah.
how many made-for-game cars are there? Because there's only, like, 4 that are here listed under made-for-game?
Well, the thing is, even with
5, actually.
even with some cars that aren't actually licensed, they'll try to on that site they'll list what they think the car closest resembles to a real life
which
car.
is what they said which is what they did for the 350Z, which was called, funny enough, the RacerXNFS.
Yeah, that does not sound like what the original name probably was.
Yeah, I don't know, and it appears to be the car you were driving earlier, the orange one. Ooh, what is this? I see purple, and I am thinking of the Vector M12.
This is a lot like a Diablo VT meets Murcielago combination, this car. I quite like the way it looks myself. LRC, come back to us.
No.
Sorry, I was taking a colossal turd, and I didn't think you guys wanted to hear.
Oh, I mean...
Well, I mean, Thunder's playing a colossal turd, so I guess it kind of meshes.
Oh!
This is another one where I just kind of took a different route because I was like, yeah, screw it. I'm kind of already facing this way, so...
What's the car's name, the one that you're driving? I think I see it here.
I don't know.
It's not the Vector.
I know. I'm just like looking at the picture that's in game, and it's called the R4000. But at the same, it kind of looks like it. It kind of doesn't. If I could see the front, that would have been nice.
Yeah.
Oh well.
But yeah.
Still, I like some of these. I like some of these cars. And actually, hold on. Interesting question. What do you think of video games like this that have fantasy cars alongside the real world ones?
I kind of like it because it adds to the whole video game aspect to it. Like, I understand that some people are always about the realism stuff, and I'm just like, that's fine. But if I really wanted the most out of realism, I'd go do that in real life. I like video games are my escape to fantasy and fun and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes when games just try to go super serious, I'm not a fan all the time.
Fair enough. No, I like seeing a lot of these concepts, you know, the fantasy cars and whatnot. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. That alone made me think that of all games, LA Rush was actually really cool because of all the original cars in that.
Yeah, I'll give it. That is fair. I'll give you that. But anyways, we could perhaps go on with this in the next part, talking more about this. Well, we're not sure yet. We'll find out. Stay tuned for the next part. We'll be taking a look at the DLC races, starting with 11 through 15. So stay tuned for the next one, guys.
Maybe.
Okay.
Definitely.